Welcome back to the channel. Today we will be looking at the Chain Warden Thresh. We'll be taking a look at Thresh's abilities and how they work so that you can pick him up in the Rift and start collecting souls. This video is aimed at newer players who want to add an engaged champion with a lot of skill expression to their arsenal. I'll also be including 2 bonus tips for every ability to bear in mind when using Thresh. And without further ado, let's dive in. Thresh's passive, Damnation. Unlike other champions, Thresh does not gain armor per level. Thresh can gather souls from champions and minions, and these souls grant Thresh armor and ability power at a 75% effective rate. For every 100 souls, you'd get 75 armor and 75 ability power. Tip number 1. It's important you collect the souls, but of course do not risk your life to grab one that would make you overstretch for it. And a second tip would be that champions, large minions, and epic monsters guarantee soul drops. Thresh's Q, Death Sentence. Thresh's Q has 2 parts. First of all, Thresh throws out his weapon and stuns the first target it lands on for a few seconds, as well as dealing magic damage. It also pulls the target towards you in the form of 2 tugs. During this period, you can press Q again to launch yourself at the target and thus continue the engage. And for some bonus tips, if you land the hook, don't always dive in with your second Q. Only do this if you're certain you want to fight. Your first Q's pulls will bring the target closer to you anyways without the need to dive in. And a second tip, Thresh does have one escape tool with Q, but it's quite situational. You can hook jungle monsters and other minions, so if you ever need to escape from a fight, and the situation is right, you can get away using your Q. Thresh's W, Dark Passage. Thresh throws out a lantern to a designated area for a brief period of time, granting a shield to one ally as well as himself if they step into the lantern's area. As well as providing a shield, if an ally clicks on the lantern, they are taken to Thresh and the lantern disappears. This is useful as an engage and disengage tool. For example, on one hand, if you land the hook and dive in, you can W to your ally for you to continue the fight, as your ally will join you in the fight. On the other hand, if you're retreating and your ally is trying to escape, using your W, they can grab the lantern and fly to you to get away. Bonus tips. The lantern will also reveal enemies and control wards in bushes, so you can throw a lantern into one to avoid walking into it blindly. A very situational tip, but allies can teleport to your lantern in the absence of a ward. Thresh's E, Play. Thresh's E has both a passive and active ability. The passive ability. Over time, Thresh will charge up his next auto attack with extra magic damage. Based on the time between the attacks, the amount of damage output varies. This is indicated by the color of the icon above the HUD, varying from green to yellow to red, with red being the highest possible damage output. Thresh's active. Thresh can push or pull targets within a rectangular box. This is done by varying the direction of the swing. In addition, enemies are slowed for 1 second and also take magic damage in the process. Some basic tips. Thresh's E passive damage also scales with the number of souls acquired. Use E to keep your enemy targets where you want them to be. If they are trying to run away, bring them closer to you by swinging towards you and vice versa. Thresh's E will disrupt channeled abilities as it does knock them up, so it can be used to interrupt ultimate abilities such as Miss Fortune's Bullet Barrage. It can also interrupt dashes. Thresh's R and ultimate, the Box. Thresh creates a pentagonal shaped prison around his location for a brief period of time. These are broken upon impact by enemy champions. The first enemy champion to break any of these 5 walls are dealt magic damage and slowed for 2 seconds. Any other collisions by other enemy champions don't damage them, but they are slowed for 1 second. Tips. After using a second Q to land on an enemy, use R to keep them trapped in your vicinity, and use the E to flay if you wish to push them into one of these walls for more damage. A disengaging tip. If you have been chased down by an enemy team, simply use your ultimate, and if they persist on chasing you, all champions who touch the walls will be slowed, thus easing your escape. And there you have it. If you enjoyed the video and found it useful, please leave a like, and if you have any questions on Thresh, please drop them down in the comments below. I'd be happy to help.